Hey everybody, it's Kate Richbourg. I am live. Let me turn this volume up. Hey Zoe Pie, can you guys hear me okay? Is this okay? Can you hear me? Give me a heart. 2, 1. Can we hear someone? Anyone? Oh, there we go. Hi Andrea, I can't wait to see you on Sunday. Just a little shout out, my friend Andrea from A Work of Heart, her fabulous store in San Jose, California, in Willow Glen. My cousin Zoe and I are taking a class there this weekend. We're super excited. So you can check out her stuff on workofheart.com if you're in the Bay Area. It's such a stress relief to go and do something cool and fun. Sometimes I teach there, but on Sunday I'm playing there, so I'm super excited. So hey, you guys. It's a beautiful Friday morning here in South San Francisco. You know, I'm all bundled up because it's like 60 degrees here today. And you know, in California, right, we don't see much snow. So it's a little chilly for me, but I bet I'm getting a bunch of eye rolls from everybody out there in Periscope land going, we're freezing, it's winter, it's December. Let me tell you, I've got so much to share with you guys today. I've got a package from Potter USA that I want to show you. I've got a really cool little, I guess, sample from Swarovski crystal that I want to show you guys, and I'm going to post later on my blog the giveaway for it. So if you like it and want it, you can go over later to my blog. All the portal to everything Kate Richbourg is at katerichbourg.com. So you can find a link to my Etsy shop, to my blog, to all of the events that are happening here, here at the studio in South San Fran. But I'll show you that in a little bit. We're also going to be working with the Jool Tool. If you guys remember last week, and by the way, if you didn't watch last week, it's all archived, all of these live from my jewelry studio bench on Fridays. It's archived up on my YouTube channel. So you can go right there, give it a subscribe, and you'll see all these on Friday. But last week, what I did was I cut a stone using my ring saw, my diamond wet saw. And so we cut a little shape that's going to be a cabochon. And so today I'm going to take that a step further and use the Jool Tool to shape it and polish it, and you'll see how super easy that is. But for now, shall we get to this package? What do you guys think? Yes? 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 Good. Okay. Let me clear my... Oh, yeah. Okay, that was a big yes. Let me clear my space. Oh, that was a crazy noise. And let me bring in this box. So this is something that, yes, awesome. This is something I've been wanting to work with. There we go. I think you guys can kind of see that okay. I've been wanting to work with for a while. Now, I've been doing some casting in my jewelry life. I've done some casting, a little bit of casting. And I've always wanted to teach it because, as you guys know, teaching is what I do and what I love. But I was never really sure how to do it in a small space, because you guys know small space jewelry making is kind of my gig. So God bless Kevin Potter, the jewelry gods. May they shine upon him for a super long time, because he brought something to my attention that had kind of been on my radar for a while. It's an old jewelry technique, but he's made it really, really easy to cast in small spaces. And so what I have right here in this box is going to help me do that, and also help me teach it. So let's open it up. And some of you guys may already know this. If you follow Kevin at all, or if you go onto his website, Potter USA, you know, kind of the cool thing that I love about all my jewelry friends, especially my tool maker friends, you know, they're making stuff right here, you know, small business, right here in the US, you know, keeping small business alive, keeping creativity alive. So I really, really appreciate that, and really, really like to promote it. So good on you, Kevin, and all you tool makers and tool buyers and jewelry makers out there. 2 thumbs up from me. So here thing I want to share with you. Kevin has found these really cool pieces that he's making to make casting super easy. So let me bring this up to the camera so you guys can see it. See how this is a ring, cool ring right here, and this is the sprue for that ring. And this is, I think, a size 8 ring that's going to fit me, because, you know, you got to try it out on yourself first, right? And so this ring band, it's brass, and this is the model that I'm going to use for casting. Now, this casting technique that we're going to be doing, that I'm going to be doing in the future, you can cast all kinds of cool stuff as long as it doesn't have an undercut. And what I mean by an undercut is kind of an angle or something where it's not easily released from the mold. You would also have to add a sprue, but what Kevin has done, and this is the sprue right here, and what a sprue is, you guys, is this is kind of the little channel where the hot metal runs down into the mold when you actually cast it. But here is the mold, and he has the model, and he has all kinds of really cool brass pieces that he's done to make it really super easy for him, for us to cast and cast and cast. So more about that, but that's what was in this little baggie. Now look at what's going on here. Let me get rid of all this packing. You know, and it's my studio, so I can throw stuff right on the floor. It's really okay by me. There's this. There's these boxes, smaller. It's like a Russian nesting doll, right? And this, look at that right there. And I think, oh, and there's this. So let's take a look. I'm just going to throw that right on the floor. Now, this stuff, what happened to mine? There it is. Hey, my mom's here. Hey, Ma. How are things in the lovely land of Central California? I'm opening this up. And what we've got here, I suspected as such. Look at this. We've got the crucible. This is what we're going to eventually, when we melt our metal for pouring into the mold, this is what we're going to melt our metal into. And here we've got our casting flask and the caps for that. And you know, if you're interested in this kind of casting, this is what's known as Delft casting. And the Delft refers to the type of clay that we're using to cast, and it's a type of sand casting. And this casting has been around, I'm going to throw that on the floor too. This casting has been around forever. I mean, it's a really old, tried and true jewelry making technique. So what we've also got here is we've got the casting flask. Now you can see, if it comes in 4 parts here, and this flask, and I'll get it up nice and close so you can see here. Can you see that? How the flask kind of opens. It's 2 separate pieces. And eventually what we're going to do is we're going to pack clay into. Yes, I will be showing how to use this kit, not today, however, but in the very near future. And I'm going to be doing a real comprehensive YouTube how-to on it as well. But we're going to pour some molten metal live one Friday. And then here are the ends for that flask to keep everything together. And then last but not least, I bet this is the clay. And then this is going to be a class. Oh, I can't wait either. We'll see what happens. You know, what am I thinking? You know, pouring molten metal live on the air. But you know what? You only live once, right? So here, let me show you this, you guys. This is the clay right here. And I'll hold it up so you guys can see it. That's the Delft clay that's right here. And the clay is what you pack into the flask and what holds things for casting. And you can see it's just fine little clay, and you pack it in real tight. And this clay can be used over and over and over. And you can find more information about this now if you go on to Kevin's website, potterusa.com, and I think he did kind of a cool short video on how to do it, how to pack that clay in. You can also find super comprehensive demos online as well if you hit up YouTube. Here's the little holder for that crucible. And, you know, I love the idea of doing this casting because I have a whole bunch of silver scrap that I've kept, and it's a great way to reuse that scrap. So you can see here's the little crucible, how it fits in here. And we're going to use just a simple propane torch, pretty hot, to do that. But that's what's coming up here. So that's my package from Potter USA. It's pretty exciting casting. So, oh, hi Lori, how are you? You can cast a bunch of different stuff. I am going to cast some bronze granules. You can certainly cast with fine silver. I'm going to cast also with some of my silver scrap. So anything, any non-ferrous metal should work. I'm not really sure about copper though. I've never really cast with copper before, but you know, given it a try, it might. Can gold be melted too? Yes, Ma, it can be melted. I know what my mom is thinking. She is running through the stores of the gold jewelry that she has, I don't know, buried in the backyard somewhere. No, I don't know. But yeah, we can certainly melt gold. That's how my ring, when Chris and I got hitched a while back. See this ring here, my engagement ring? This ring was actually made out of scrap gold that I had in my jewelry box. My gran had given me a little 10-carat gold ring a while back when I was little that the diamond came out of. I had a cool 22-carat Indian ring from, or Indian earring that I lost the mate to, and I had some other gold as well. So we just melted this gold right down in a crucible, not unlike the one that's here, and we made the ring out of it. So that was kind of cool. So any metals can be melted. Non-ferrous jewelry making metals can be melted in this. So let me share with you the thing I got from Swarovski, and then we'll get to the Jool Tool. How does that sound? Let me put this, take this out of the way. And with Swarovski, you know, I started beading back when I was a little girl, really. That didn't quite work out. Is it okay to melt? Yes, you can remelt. I was actually reading about remelting your metal and the porosity of the metal. The thing about casting is when you cast, the metal can get contaminated, and so you want to make sure that your scrap is really clean. And if you're remelting things that didn't work out, clean them really well. I might even pickle them to make sure that they're super clean, and then go ahead and remelt. There is a guy I read, he was in my Facebook feed, and I can't remember his name, but I think he was working with this Potter system, and he was making a bunch of different rings kind of over and over to see different finishes on them, and he was recasting that metal, the same metal from the ring, over and over. And he said he had been recasting about 20 times, and the porosity issue was fine. He wasn't having too much trouble. So, you know, if it's scrap, it's scrap. It can't hurt to try it. You can't wreck your sand, and, you know, the metal, you know, it's renewable and reusable, so I would say try it again and again. Even if it has solder, good one. I would try and cut away the solder bits, actually, from that. That's a really good point. But with casting, you know, the original piece that you cast, if you're casting in casting green, shouldn't have that much solder. But if you're casting, or if you're melting something, like let's say that I was going to melt, I don't know, even like this ring, if I were going to melt something like this, I'd try and cut away the pieces that do have the solder connecting, and then go ahead and remelt that way. There's also a tip, and I need to look it up. When you use carbon, you can get carbon rods to stir your molten metal, to mix it. You're welcome. To mix it, that carbon, some of the impurities will stick to that carbon as well. I need to do a little more research on that before I actually play around with it. But that's what I've heard from people who have more casting experience than I. So, that being said, let us check out what I got from Swarovski. Like I was saying, early on, you know, back when I was a little girl, I loved making jewelry. And I loved making jewelry with old bits and pieces out of my grand's jewelry box. And crystal was always something that I really loved. So I've been a Swarovski fan from way back, Austrian crystal. And from my days from owning a bead store up in San Francisco, I carried a lot of Swarovski. So I still get like the releases from their new products and stuff like that, which is really cool. And so I've gotten from them, it's the Swarovski, let me hold this up, the Swarovski Crystal Pearl sampler of every pearl, crystal pearl that they have, every color. Look at that, it folds out kind of like a bead centerfold. Look at that, it's backwards, I think, for you guys to see. But it talks a lot about the crystal pearls, what they do. I know, it's cool, right? And it has all the colors. Can you see all the colors? So pretty. And all the sizes here. So I'm going to post this up on my blog. This could be pretty helpful for those of you who work a lot with Swarovski crystal pearls, and it's just a really good reference. So later today when I do a blog post, I'm going to post a little giveaway for this. So if you want it, head on over there later and I'll do a drawing at the end of the weekend. But that's this little package. So thank you from Swarovski. If I don't decide to keep it. No, I'm just kidding. I won't keep it, even though I kind of want to. Okay, so let's head on over to the Jool Tool, shall we? I keep thinking my camera's over there, but it's actually over there. So I'm going to take you guys off of my camera stand, and I'll show you what that camera stand is. My camera stand is my tried and true bench vise right there. And I'll just kind of show you what I've got going on here before I walk over. I've been making a lot of kind of cool earrings and stuff lately. So I've been making this stuff here. What have I got? Some rings. This ring, we're going to talk about this in a future cast on how to raise a bezel. And you can see, if you can see real up close there, how they're stamping on the bezel right there. We're going to play around with that. The little items here, you can kind of see, let me show you. Right there in the middle of my flower, can you see that? That's a little piece that I did with my shot plate. And my shot plates, my beloved collection of shot plates are over here. Let me get these over so you guys can see them. See how easily distracted I am as I'm walking over to my Jool Tool. From the shot plates, these are actually from Tucker Tool. You guys see that there? That little shots. And what the shot plates do is they make those little shaped granules. And you can see here, if I show you on my workbench, see how right there on this one, let me show you here. This is one. There, some pretty good focus. That one came out of, I think, this little hole. Sorry, I know it's like a earthquake there. And all I do is I just have a little granule of fine silver. And on an earlier broadcast from my jewelry bents, I talked about making those granules. But you can see that's what I've been working on there. And then if I flash up as I walk on over, you can see my stuff's laid out. I've got a show coming up soon, so I'm doing a lot of jewelry. So that's actually how I lay out all of my stuff when I'm starting to work and I need some kind of organization. It doesn't look too organized, but it's not too bad. And you can see how I have the different projects and stuff out. I got these little trays here at Daiso, the Japanese store. I don't know if those of us who live in California, we've got Daiso all over, and these little trays are awesome for keeping your little things. But you know, you can find a bunch of little trays anywhere to keep stuff organized. And then last I want to show you my friend Emily. She's so awesome. She made this really cool, let me try and pan out back here. necklace display. You can see here it has a ridge right there, and then this just goes in it. And I could put necklaces there, I could drill holes in it for earrings and stuff. This is just stuff that she got at Michael's. I'll show you the back of it. You can see here. See, it's just one of those little boards, kind of paint on it boards or craft boards that you get from Michael's. So if you guys do make jewelry and do sell it, what I'm going to do with mine is I'm going to put my rings there like that. Can you see that? That's kind of cool, right? And then I'll hang, maybe I'll do some little hooks or something like this to hang necklaces across or something like that. So it's a pretty good idea. Whoops, you guys are a little out of focus, huh? There we go, that's better. It's a pretty good idea, so big shout out to my friend Emily for making those. I think they're awesome. Okay, so let's walk on over. Here's your friend and mine, the Jool Tool. I know, right? I see a lot of hearts for that Jool Tool. I'm the same way, you guys, right? Yeah, bring it hearts, totally. So let me talk a little bit about this Jool Tool. You know, I just finished writing my second, let's try that again, my second book this past summer, and I couldn't have done it as quickly as I did without this tool. You know, the Jool Tool, you can see it's right over there. That's this guy here. And essentially what it is it's a rotary tool on a stand. And so the rotary tool is horizontal. So as you work, you're going to see as I do the grinding and stuff here, you can kind of see through the top here as you work. So it's really, you're positioned really naturally, and it's really, really easy to use. Here in my drawer in front, it says torches, but it really should say Jool Tool instead. I've got all my stuff, all my different heads and stuff for my Jool Tool. But today we're going to focus on these that are right in front of me. Sorry, it's a little wavy gravy here. Let me put this here. So what I've got here in front of me, and you know what, I'm going to put you guys in the holder that I've got over here on the side of my table so I can actually use both hands so we can see what's going on. So bear with me here for just a second. And look at, oh, it's a great close-up of my rolling mill, huh? Check that out. Let me flip. There we go. Let me put this guy up here, and then we can see a little bit better about what's going on. So far so good. Feel free, you guys, to jump in if you have any questions. And you can also, I'm trying to move this around, not being very successful. You can also find me on all of my social media outlets. Also, that portal to everything is katerichbourg.com. So you can reach out to me there. And if I don't answer your question, it may be because I get so many questions, I've missed yours. So don't feel like I'm ignoring you. Just ask it again, and I'll be glad to get to you. Sometimes when my inbox is flooded, I miss you, and I don't want to miss you. So let's open this up, and let's put the ye old iPad right in there and get everything positioned. That's not too bad, right? Whoops. Someday I'm going to need a camera person for this. Sorry about this, you guys. Bear with me here. Tightening up here in the clamp. There we go. There we go. Not bad. Ta-da! There we have it. Okay, perfect. So let me show you these. I have the heads for the tool. So this was, to remind you, this was our little guy that we had last week. I cut this from Poppy Jasper on my saw. And there's a whole bunch of heads that we're going to use to grind that to make it into a usable cabochon. Now, this is the diamond grinding wheel that I'm going to use to shape the stone first. And then it goes through a whole series of grits that you use to refine the surface of the stone. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I am just going to, I might jump a few steps just in the interest of time. But to polish, to start, we would go with this coarse grind to refine it from here. Then we'll go to a fine, to a very fine. Then we'll jump to the diamond polishing, which get more and more and more fine as they go along. And the end result will be a stone that's pretty polished and ready to use in your designs. But this is the one that does all of the shaping. So let me show you here. Remember last week when I cut this, it had that little kind of nub right there that was left from the saw, and the edges are pretty sharp. You know, the surface of the stone is pretty clean, but it does need some shaping up. So I'm going to move my Jool tool a little closer to the camera so you guys can see this. Now, you want to make sure, you guys, that you are wearing some kind of eye protection here, right? That's a pretty good view, actually. Because this is a rotary tool, and you don't want to have objects come flying up into your face, right? So you want to be real careful. I'm also, hold that thought for a second. Also, when you're working with rocks and grinding and polishing and stuff like that, you want to use them. You want to make sure that your wheel is wet. So what the Jool tool has is this little trough here, and I'm going to add a little bit of water into that and put this down right here. And also, if I'm doing this all day repeatedly, I also wear a dust mask, and you want to wear a dust mask that's rated, I think it's N95, super fine for super fine particles, so you don't breathe in this dust. The water is going to help keep the dust down for sure, but again, if you're doing a lot of work with grinding, you want to make sure that your respiratory system is protected. Also, see how I have my long cuffs here? I'm going to roll my cuffs up. And I also don't have any necklaces or anything hanging down here that could be caught in this rotary tool. You know, a rotary tool, I think, is one of the most dangerous tools that you have in your studio. If you have long hair and you lean too close, or if you're not really present and paying attention, this rotor can grab, you know, onto your sleeve or your hair or something that's hanging and pull you right in. So you really, really want to make sure that you're present and focused, and long hair and sleeves are tied back and rolled up. Okay, so that's my safety caution for the morning. I'm going to start, like I said, we're going to start with this coarse, diamond grinding wheel. And the way that this goes on is, it just goes on here. I grab the spindle and I tighten just like so, so it's on there nice and tight. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that this is plugged in. And it is, good thing. So now I'm going to take my stone, and I'm going to actually pull this down a little bit. I'm going to lower it. It's up on a thing, on a little tile. There we go. And I'm going to kind of be working on the side here. Usually I'd be standing in front, but I want you guys to see what's going on. Let me see if I can get this a little closer too. Camera adjustments, camera adjustments. There we go. What do you guys think? That's a pretty good view, huh? Not bad. So this is the kit. If you're thinking about getting a Jool tool, this kit is, I think it's the stone grinding or stone lapidary kit. You know, you can call Jool Tool, you know, you can find their info right online, and Ani or one of her crew will certainly help you to figure out exactly what you want, because this is a basic, this unit is kind of the basic thing, and then you add or take away whatever you want for these rotors that way. So I'm going to turn this on. And it's not super fast. That's real fast. Can you hear that? That's real slow, like that. I'm going to go somewhere in the middle, about there. So now when I work, I'm going to work below, right here, below this rotor, and I'm going to be looking down on the top. Now, don't worry about getting your fingers caught. I mean, I can kind of tap my finger on there and it doesn't hurt too much, actually. But don't be afraid of this tool. Just make sure that you're present and that you're using caution. So I'm going to dip my stone in that little water trough like that, and I'm going to start with this little nub that's there. I'm going to bring it up, I'm going to hold it firmly, and I'm going to grind. And I dip frequently, and can you see how that little nub has gone away? And you can see my stone is wet. Now, what I'm looking for here as I'm working, when I push my stone up against the wheel, I'm looking through and I can kind of see the part that I'm grinding away. And I kind of work it back and forth. And as in all cases of rotary tools, you let the tool do the work. So I'm not pushing too hard. And can you see how that's really, sorry, there's the camera. Let's see if I can focus this a little bit better. That's better. It's pretty smooth. Now I'm going to do the other side. And again, light touch. Ease up on the death grip on your stone, but hold it firmly. And what I'm seeing here, again, through the top, is how my stone is smoothing out. So you can see I'm refining, there we go, I'm refining that shape. See how it's a little funky right on this side? So what I do to get rid of that bump is I'm going to press this bump up to the grinder, and I'm going to kind of rock it this way and rock it that way. And you know, I kind of feel the surface of the stone through the grinder, and you can kind of feel, I know it sounds funny, but you can kind of feel when that stone surface evens out. So let me do that now. Hit the bump, go slightly to the right and slightly to the left. Working back and forth. And see, there we go. I'm taking that down. Maybe I'll turn this up just a little bit more. There we go. That's working a little bit better for me. Can you see here? See right there, that little indicator? That's a low spot in the stone, so I'm going to kind of grind to kind of bring that low spot even with the rest. And that's kind of how I make everything start to be even. So see how that's coming? And now I can also see that little ridge there. I'm going to dip and make that ridge even. Frequent dips. There we go. That's really coming along. Now I've been really working on that side, so I don't want the stone to be too lopsided, even though this is demo time. But can you see that there? See how I've ground here and ground here, but there's no grinding here. That means that this spot's a little low. So I try and even it out. Okay, great. So the shape is really looking up. Now, let me do the sides a little bit here. Just to get that edge. And remember, I'm doing this in demo time, not real jewelry making time. So you'd be taking a little more care as you do this. But can you see how I've kind of gotten a nice bevel on that edge? I'm going to do that all the way around. Just like so. And I'm going to do this end just a little. Take those ends down a bit. Okay, now I want to show you another tip that I have here for this. So hold that thought for just a second. I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to grab one of my favorite tools, my favorite jewelry making tools of all time. Let me grab that. Well, favorite jewelry making, I guess it's a tool. I'll call it a tool. If you have trouble seeing how things are even, this is a good tip. There we go, and you can see how things are actually looking pretty good with this piece for even just the first pass. Now you can really see, if you're having trouble getting things even like this, I've got the world's biggest Sharpie marker. This is the Sharpie Magnum, and I found it at my local big box hardware store. And I use that Sharpie to come in, and I'll draw on the edge of my stone. See that there? And I'll let that dry. Make sure it's nice and dry here, like so. Now I'm going to come in, and as I grind, I'll be able to see where spots are left because they're dark. So watch this. Let me dip this, and let me give that another pass. So you can see what looks even, you can see where my Sharpie is left. So I go until all of my Sharpie is removed. Can you see how that's coming along? Over here you can see quite a bit of Sharpie, so I'm going to take that down too. Remember, you guys, light touch. The marker doesn't hurt the surface of this stone. I might not do it, I don't know, with something that's more porous, but you're grinding this surface away anyway. So I don't really think it's an issue. I haven't encountered an issue yet anyway. There we go. Let me dry this off so you can see it. So see how now my Sharpie is all gone, and that edge, that looks pretty darn even. So now essentially what you do is you go through the steps. I'm going to kind of jump a couple steps, and I'm just going to polish a small part of this so you can kind of see what's happening. I'm going to take this off, put this fine grit down, and you know, again, this is demo time, not real jewelry making time. So I would go through many more of the grits and be a little more fastidious about what I'm doing. But I'm just going to go along on the surface of this stone, pushing this up against. And you can see how it's grinding the surface. And the more even you make the face of this stone, the better polish you're going to have. Let me show you this. Even from just that little bit, you can see, I don't know if I can catch the light over here, but this I can feel is getting a lot smoother. And I'll just continue on. I'll do one more. I'll bump up to, I don't know, the diamond polish. Skipping all these steps isn't always the best, but I want you guys to see. And you can see I turn my rotary, my tool up a little bit higher to really get that polish going. And see how I'm supporting it with this hand underneath, holding it tightly here. And again, I can feel the surface. It's still a little wet. I don't know if you can see. You can kind of see that difference there. See the sunlight? How the sunlight's catching that top of the stone, but not the bottom part. And that's just two of the little discs. So you'd go on, continue on, and that's how that stone polishing works. Now, what I'm going to do, we're going to continue with this stone next week. I'm going to drill a hole in this sucker, actually, next week, to show you how I do that. There's a couple of ways I do that. But to finish up, I'm going to take you guys out of this, my vise here, and we'll bring you back to the other work table. There we go. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was fun. I love the Jool Tool. I don't know if you can tell, but I do. Let me put you guys back here in this vise. Okay, so that looks like about it, what I have for today. So the takeaways from today, you guys, is we went over the Delft clay casting kit from Potter USA. My nose is running, sorry. It's a little gross, but whatever, this is live. So the Delft casting kit from Potter USA. I'm going to do some casting with that on a future episode from my jewelry bench. We also talked about the Swarovski pearl samples that I got, and those will be posted on my blog later on today, so you can go over there and give me a follow. And we also used the Jool Tool to do a little bit of polishing, taking that cabochon a little bit further, the cab that we cut on the ring saw last week. We polished it this week, and then next week I'm going to drill some holes in it. So as always, you guys can follow me. My main portal is katerichbourg.com. A lot of you know I do have a lot of free classes and free information that's out on the web. You can find links to all of that free stuff right online. And also a little tip, if you do, or if you're thinking about getting any of my Craftsy videos, my Craftsy link at the bottom of my website, if you click on that, that's a link to my Craftsy classes. You can buy them at a discounted price. They're half off. And that link is always there. It's not something that's going to expire. So when you decide if and when you do want to take a Craftsy class from me, you can get it at half price. And you can jump over to Craftsy and read all about it, but you get those Craftsy classes are yours to keep forever, and you can watch them over and over and over. So that's what I've got. I hope that you guys have a fantastic weekend. Tomorrow I'll actually be teaching at Baubles and Beads in Berkeley, California. So I might pop in just a little to do a little demo from class. I'm doing my simple soldering boot camp. It's one of my most popular classes that I teach. So I might throw in a soldering demo tomorrow, but that'll also be archived up on my YouTube channel if you miss it. Again, thanks you guys so much for watching out there. I really, really appreciate it. Give me a follow on Periscope, give me a follow on YouTube, whatever. Follow me from here to the grocery store, whatever. Bye, Zoe. Thanks for watching. Andrew, if you're still watching, I'll see you on Sunday, and we'll see you guys next week. Be safe, be healthy. Talk to you soon.